All right, everybody, we have a special edition of what's going on here at the TV studio. We're here with Linda Heuschkel, a teacher in her last day at Sterling. Now, if I have this right, 38 years at Sterling?
38 and a half, counting this last half year.
And what was your first year here?
My first year was September 1st, 1981.
And what brought you to Sterling?
Well, I was playing softball with a teacher here, Chris Foster, who was getting knee surgery. So in my stupid, naive mind, I assumed that she would probably not be teaching. So I just happened to look in the paper. There was an opening. Turned out Mrs. Natalie Hudson had cancer, brain cancer. She was going on a leave of absence. So I came in as her replacement, only because Chris Foster told me she taught at Sterling. I had no idea where Sterling was, even though I live only 3 miles away in Glendora. And I realized that Sterling was a school nearby, but only knew of them from high school days when Triton would play Sterling in basketball.
1981, Sterling High School. What was it like?
Very crowded. There was 1,500 people in here. We had a schedule of blue and silver, where one day you would, 1 week, the kids would have 3 days of gym, 2 days of health. And then the other week they would have 3 days of health and 2 days of gym.
How about the students? We taped this in 2019. How have the students at Sterling High School changed or not changed over the years?
I would think probably regarding the students' behavior, students are going to be students no matter what they are because of their teenage years. Everybody is the same as a teenager. We were the same as teenagers as they are now. Maybe not as, I would say, into technology as much as they are, because there wasn't any back then. Regarding, I think they're a little less respectful, which may be because of the fact that they are allowed to be that way at home, so they carry it over into where they come into school. That's a minor part of their behavior. A majority of these kids are very thoughtful. They're very heartfelt. They really care about what they do, no matter what it is, whether it's studies, academics, or just social life. So I would say when people ask me about my job, what don't you like about your job? Because they find out I'm a high school teacher with teenagers, and I always say teenagers are the same. They have really changed. I said, really, it comes into the fact that you just have to learn to go with them, and when they change, you have to change. You can't stay the way that you used to be, although talking to some people will say that I haven't really changed that much in terms of what we do in gym, but you know, that's how I was brought up, that's how I learned, and that's how I continued.
We were just kind of a little bit in a funny way talking to kids before we came on the air that you've changed over the last bunch of years as a teacher here. How would you indicate how you've changed here?
Well, I've come to realize that I took my job very seriously, maybe to the point of where it was a little too serious. I've come to realize that if you go with it and have fun with it, being a sarcastic person, which I am, which has gotten me in trouble because of some of my tone and things that I've said, I would say for the most part that I've learned to enjoy it more. I realize that kids know where you're coming from if you're fair, if you are really concerned about them, and if they know that they're going to get a fair shake from you, that they know that you're not just going to play favorites. And I try very hard not to play favorites because that was something I hated when I was in high school.
You've had the opportunity to teach many generations, being here 38 years. What are some of your memories as you're looking at maybe, are we at the grandkid stage yet with some of these, or are we just sons and daughters?
Well, we have some early grandkids from people that I had early back. I have some kids. I think my biggest realization was when I taught a daughter of a guy that I went to high school with. And when I found out who her father was, it really hit me with, wow, I can't believe that I'm still here. And that was many years ago. We're talking 30 years ago.
Right.
And I think for the most part, I do not want to be here when their grandchildren come.
That makes sense.
Yes, I think it's time to hang up those whistles.
You've done some extracurricular stuff in your career here at Sterling. What were, for the people out there, especially our younger crew, what were some of the extracurricular stuff you were involved in?
Well, I really enjoyed my time as the head field hockey coach. I was the assistant for a couple of years, and I became the head, and that came from 1991 up to 1998. I was the freshman softball coach for 1 year. I believe that was probably '89. I was the track coach, assistant track coach for the girls track team. That was probably 81 until 1988. I attended all the football games, either as a ticket seller, pass looker, I don't even know what you call them. I was also the head of checking out football. I was in charge of football operations on the ticket side. Went to basketball games everywhere, collected tickets, went to wrestling meets, collected tickets for years and years and years, and really enjoyed. I enjoyed being around the kids.
Again, since your time here, 81, being a PE teacher involved with athletics, this is a very strong athletic school. What are some athletic teams that kind of stick out in your mind over your 38 years here?
Well, I have to say, for the most part, being the assistant track coach on the 1986-87 track team that won the Woodbury Relays, we went to the Camden County Championships. We had all-state people that ran through here. It was very, very fun time. It was a very fun time. The girls' basketball teams, how can you not be a part of that? The boys' wrestling teams, that little run they went through in the 2000s. On the football teams, there's always such fun going to the football games, watching the football games, because the athletic ability in this area is very, very strong, and it continues to be strong. So I can't imagine that it can get any better, but who knows, there might be a state championship right around the corner.
Hopefully. Girls' sports. How have girls' sports changed from the time you came here to the time where we are right now, whether it be at Sterling or South Jersey wide?
Well, I would say girls-wise, well, when I first start teaching here, we were separated into girls and boys PE classes. And then what happened is that when we were really doing things that weren't correct, what we would do is take the rosters and we would put all the boys with the boys and all the girls with the girls, and then the state came in on a surprise visit and realized that we were segregating. So what we had to do is become officially co-ed, so where we had boys and girls. So in terms of PE classes, that was different. When it came to the girls' sports, more sports have gotten involved and implemented. Girls' soccer, I was here when girls' soccer first started. When it came down to the girls on cheerleading with the dance squads, where they used to go to their competitions with Jill Callahan and Jean White, that was very, very important. With the boys' sports that came about, now we have lacrosse coming on with the boys' sports. In terms of the tennis teams, I don't believe at the time, no, I'm wrong. The tennis team, there was a girls' tennis team, but it was interesting that at one time when I started in high school, the girls and boys played at the same time. Then they realized they didn't have the tennis space. So then they had to go and separate the seasons. I just can't believe the change that is going on here. Girls-wise, there's more girls that are involved. Unfortunately, too, what's going on is that we're taking more specialized, kids are being more specialized in sports to where they're not really a three-sport athlete anymore, because they're really working on getting their skills up to par to where they might possibly get an athletic scholarship. I think they find out, too, that they're more world-rounded if they do three sports as opposed to being concentrating on one. But sometimes that has to do with scholarship availability.
How has physical education class changed from your early days here at Sterling, when you've had the moms and dads, as to where the kids are right now? How has the classes changed and what goes on?
Well, I'm sure it's going to go back to the uniforms. We have leisure wear now, basically, is what their uniforms are. We used to have standard uniforms where they would have a white shirt and royal blue shorts, or maybe it was like a gray t-shirt, royal blue shorts. Names had to be on them, only white socks. Then we went to white and black socks. Then we went to, it doesn't matter what kind of socks you had on. It's a little harder nowadays to figure out whether they're changing or not, because of the fact some of the things they wear to school is what they wear to gym class. But that's a sign of the times. It's something you have to deal with. You just have to deal with the participation part. I think kids would want to participate, but because we don't have showers anymore, which when I was in high school, showers were taken. And then since I graduated in '73, getting here, showers were never part of the daily routine for girls. Boys may have taken a shower depending on what they do, because boys tend to get a little sweatier than girls do during PE. But for the most part, we have to really get the kids to want to enjoy the physical aspects, because when they leave high school, that's probably where they're going to spend most of their money. Going to gyms, going to classes. So all the things they get here for free could give them a good foundation for what they're going to do later on and pay for it.
38 years, I know there's a lot of great things that happened to you individually. Is there a couple things that just pop in your mind right now, some favorite moments of your teaching here at Sterling High School?
I would say probably, you know, talking regarding as a teacher student, not having children of my own. I really enjoy being with the students every day. It's always good to be away from the students every day. I have to give a heads up to all the parents who have children that also are teachers, because it's a big responsibility coming in during the day, having the behavior that goes on, then going home and possibly seeing the same behavior at home. You know, so now you're working 2 jobs and only getting paid for 1. So as a person who doesn't have children, I didn't have to deal with that. So it was a good stay away factor, which could be the reason why I've stayed here so long. You know, it was a very hard decision, but as everyone has said, and I didn't know this in the beginning, you kind of know when it's time to go. You realize, personally for me, I don't like getting up in the morning. As anybody knows, I have issues with being late, which there are some of the things that I remember, getting in trouble for swiping in too much. You know, I was told about that. Administratively, we've had our ups and downs, you know, but obviously the good thing is that I was still here. And my bottom philosophy was, if you do your job, you shouldn't be afraid of anyone coming down on you. If you know what you're doing is right, admit to the things that you've done wrong, and know that what you're doing is for the good of everybody as well as yourself, then chances are you'll be in a long, successful career. So there's really not one. I have to say probably coaching field hockey was probably my most, I really enjoyed coaching that team and coaching those girls. And now, as a matter of fact, one of my former players is here as a teacher, Joyce Phillips, who's the art teacher. She was my goalie as Joyce Clowder. And it's so good to catch up with her and see her daughters. And hopefully when I retire, I'll be able to get all these pictures together, and I'll be able to go and put them on Facebook and have all the old, you know, I have videotapes that maybe I'll turn over into DVDs of games that I've had in the past. You know, I videotaped back then, of my own videotapes as well as what the school videotaped. So I would say field hockey had to be probably the highlight of me coaching. I really enjoyed it. And we're in a very hard conference, so once again, you know, hats off to Mrs. Waters and what she wants to accomplish in the coming years.
You get last word. I guess we'll use the camera over here. You get to talk to the community. It's your time to say what you want to say.
Well, I have to say, I really, really can't believe I'm doing this. I enjoyed every one of you. It's so nice to catch up with you when we had back to school nights, and when I saw you at basketball games, and when I saw you outside in the public. Some of you, I remember most of your names. I try very hard to remember kids' names and make a point of saying hello to you every day, even in class. I always got criticized for taking too long in attendance, but I wanted to make sure that I said a word to a student, so at least they knew they were being acknowledged. I didn't want you to just think you were somebody in my class that I wouldn't remember or know if I saw you out of school. So for you, thank you so much. Even if it was a good time with you, a bad time with me, or vice versa, it was a meaningful time. So once again, I will not be a stranger. I'm not going to be a teacher that goes away and never comes back, because I spent three quarters of my life so far at Sterling High School. So for you, I appreciate everything you've done for me, and it's nothing but fond, wonderful memories.
From us in here, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Ms. Heuschkel. Have fun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.